Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is November 20th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery here. Up and at 'em early this morning. Haven't decided exactly what we are going to do today. We may go out and check the damage, or we may go out and chase some more stuff associated with this storm. We have a very intense band of precipitation moving towards the coastline. A lot of lightning strikes ongoing, but of course the big story is we have hundreds of thousands of people, potentially up over 500,000 without power across western Washington. Our worst fears were realized with this storm. I've been talking about it for 4 to 5 days, maybe even a little bit longer. These very powerful east and southeast winds have just absolutely been raking areas, especially Puget Sound, eastward across the area. Blizzard conditions, atmospheric river with just some extreme flooding into portions of California. And you see, this thing isn't done yet. We're still spinning these bands of thunderstorms and lightning on through the coastline this morning. And I want to show you here what's going on really quick as the low continues to fill. Good thing is the winds are on the wane, but as you see, we have additional storm development that is going to come. And hopefully this thing stays far enough away from the coast where it's not going to cause high winds to the interior areas, because we need time to recover. You may be several days before areas have their power restored here across western Washington. The tree damage is extremely extensive here. I've got a lot of viewers and friends showing me pictures, trees down on their houses and cars and in their yards and whatnot. And I know that power is out everywhere, like I mentioned before. So I have to marvel at this here. So we're taking a look at Enumclaw and actually that station right here off to the south and east. This is very close to where we were yesterday during our live stream. And look at this. This station, this Tempest, recorded 80-mile-per-hour gusts and multiple gusts up towards 60 or exceeding 60. There's one right there at 69. And that went all the way on in through the very early morning hours before we started to wane. If you guys want one of these weather stations for your home, click on that link down below to save 10% off. And now this is kind of what the Puget Sound energy map was looking like. And there's many more people than this without power also. And you can see how the winds came out of the east all the way across SeaTac and some of the Auburn Valley and Kent and down towards Federal Way and off to the east here, and just widespread power outages. And there's other areas too. I don't want to speculate too much, but we have probably up over 500,000 people without power. This is video that we took kind of early on in the storm. This tree was on fire, hanging on power lines. It eventually collapsed and tore down all these power lines, and the transformers were blown up. So I got some pretty intense video last night as well. But looking at the storm right now, this is that low pressure center here in Vancouver Island. Look at this amount of lightning from Vancouver Island all the way down off the Oregon coast. Washington coast, you don't need me to tell you right now, you're getting absolutely hammered. Ocean shores, places on Highway 101 towards the Olympic Mountains. It's now starting to move down towards Westport and Long Beach. You're probably just now starting to hear some of that thunderstorm activity. I'm not sure how far this lightning is going to make it in, but you can see this is going to continue on for a bit as this deep low continues to fill and spread some big wave action also along a lot of the coastal areas, and probably still some notable snowfall and some very windy conditions across some of the mountainous areas. So if you don't have to travel today, please do not. Now the models aren't doing that great of a job. You see, as I scroll through this morning, it is showing some of the shower activity, but definitely underdoing just the intensity of that line moving onto the coastal areas as we go through this morning. So yeah, just what a wild storm. And then if we scroll out far enough, you can see additional mid-latitude cyclone development off the coastline there. It's starting to show up on the HRRR. Hopefully that stays far enough away from a big blow. We need time to recover here. And big wave action up and down the coastline. So yeah, watch out if you're on the coast today, because that, when it correlates with high tide, you know how that goes, beach erosion and whatnot, could be washing up over jetties and beaches. Don't turn your back on the ocean. Stay out of the surf zone. The snow is kind of a secondary story right now, but we did get some good amounts yesterday, and still some more falling as we go through the upcoming days. But still, this is something we're much more apt to handle across the region. You can see a little bit building up as we go on in through Friday there. And I do want to point this out because this does include some portions of Oregon. I usually cover, Idaho, Montana, Washington, British Columbia, and Oregon. And you can see there is moderate risk here from this atmospheric river as we go through the day today, and the rare high risk is down across California. So if you can avoid traveling I-5 southbound into California, you might want to do that. And if you have interest across California, hopefully everything is in order right now, because the rain has just absolutely been relentless and is going to continue for the next few days. Now, if I look at total precipitation inches, where again, these showers moving in could cause some localized flooding, some very heavy rain associated with the thunderstorm activity. And you can kind of see it, the European capturing a bit of that as we go through the day today and kind of slamming in towards the Kitsap Peninsula and the Olympic Mountains. So be alert for that. It doesn't show too much of this moving across the interior, but again, the coastal regions and, some good amounts showing up even across from the Willamette Valley here. And then the next storm system rides up, and that may bring snow levels up a bit here, but still, we're not looking at huge widespread heavy precipitation amounts here across the Pacific Northwest through the upcoming days, and that's a good thing because we definitely need a break. So looking at where we were last night, this is right before midnight, and just this ridiculous low pressure. I mean, give me a break, a 937. That's probably what the lowest of what the models were saying, but it's just academic at this point. You guys saw what this was doing to the region, and as we go through tonight, you still see it as a very deep low just south of Haida Gwaii as we go through tonight. It retreats, and then we start to bring the potential for another strong storm up here. And some of the models are showing this a little bit closer than what the European is here. So we got to watch it closely as we go through Thursday and the upcoming day on Friday. So we'll be watching that. I'll do a little bit more of a professional forecast here for the day tomorrow morning. Probably going out and checking things out on the day today. Now, this is the North American model, high resolution. Again, this low is going to be filling all day long. Big wave action, multiple rounds of showers, and then you can see that next storm system develop. The North American model showing a little bit closer to the coastline, so you got to watch this bugger. Don't let that deep low pressure out there fool you. This is a very strong mid-latitude cyclone. This is a very intense pressure gradient on the backside of that, and that could bring some southerly winds if that gets close enough. So again, we'll be watching that. Now, of course, you guys know what direction these winds were coming from. If you're across some of the Puget Sound lowlands here, Seattle northbound, and there was big winds across Camino Island, so Whidbey Island out there as well. I still don't know the extent of the damage of the storm, so a lot of places are still out of power. But as you can see, as we go through this morning, that gradient is on the wane. Still some gusty winds for some areas, northwest interior and whatnot. But the worst is over now, folks. So glad to hear about that. And then if we scroll off, you can see the next storm system, gusty winds moving up the coastline. That's where the North American model ends. And you can kind of use your imagination on some of the potential with that storm as we go on through the day Friday. There's the GFS. Let's update the GFS and look at 060 and just kind of see what that next system. You can see our current storm system filling all day, and there goes the next one. That one stays far enough off the coastline where this would not be a big blow to the Pacific Northwest. But that is a monster storm out here, so we really got to watch that one too. And then we also have to watch for things like big wave action, maybe some mountain snows and whatnot. We'll see how that trends. We'll look at that again tomorrow. Here's the Oregon coast showing some of the strong winds. Siskiyou Summit as we go. Channel's doing great here. I know it kind of comes at a cost sometimes when we deal with these huge storm systems. So I hope everybody's doing all right. Hopefully we get out of this with nobody being injured. And honestly, I hope this is why you guys tune into the channel. If you did, you had, probably close to a 5-day heads up on this storm system coming in here. I had a lot of comments saying, hey, what are you talking about? The National Weather Service isn't talking about a storm coming, but that is what I specialize in here, folks. I've lived here my whole life. I've read every forecast discussion from the National Weather Service. I've self-educated. I've taken a lot of college courses and whatnot. I've worked for Alaska Airlines, and my job depends on me knowing these things in advance. So a little bit of a self-promotion here, but hopefully I can get a little bit more credibility. And when we have these storm systems coming up, we can take them a little bit more seriously, because some of the comments I was getting were pretty intense on, hey, you're just hyping things and making things up. And as you guys can see, come take a visit down here to the Puget Sound lowlands after last night, and you will see this storm was not hyped. This thing performed on the high end of things, and there's very intense damage out here. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, I don't know if I'll live stream again here today, but at the very latest, I will do another more professional briefing tomorrow morning. So I hope you guys are okay out there, and I will talk to you guys later.